Webb, let me show you and our viewers what you said during the campaign about Iraq. If we want a new direction in Iraq, we need a new team in Congress. A Democratic Congress will demand from day one that the president find a real way forward in Iraq. What's a real way forward?
Well, first of all, I was saying even before we went in that there were three major issues in the Middle East that had to be addressed. One was the Israeli-Arab situation, the other was terrorism, and the third was Iraq, and that if we lump them together, that we risk having a problem with all three of them. That has happened. So in looking at Iraq, you need a larger scope than simply what's going on with the government, with the troops inside, which people keep talking about. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the Baker Commission comes forward with, the Iraq Study Group. But what we need, and I've been saying this for more than 2 years, is a diplomatic approach that will bring the countries in the region to the table so that we can have some ownership, diplomatic ownership from the countries that have long-term cultural and historical ties with Iraq. And from that umbrella, then we can address the issue of moving our combat troops out and still affecting the war against international terrorism. I think that's doable. It's a leadership question rather than simply an issues question, and that's what I'm looking forward to trying to bring to the table.
You're talking about Iran and Syria.
We need to talk to Iran and Syria. I think it was a great mistake not to as this moves forward, and that's one thing that I've been encouraged to hear from former Secretary of State Baker, that you need to talk to your enemies as well as your friends. You don't have to give up anything in terms of the national concerns to be talking to them, but it's impossible to resolve the situation now without talking to them.
John Tester, during the campaign, this is what your website said, and open-ended occupation is not in the best interest of the United States, the Iraqi people, or the Middle East. The time has come to support our troops by laying out a plan to bring them home. Realistically, what kind of plan would you lay out to bring the troops home?
Well, I think many of the things that Senator-elect Webb talked about would be part of the plan, but I will tell you, we need to work with our allies in the region. We also need to talk to our enemies and put diplomatic pressure on them, but we also need to visit with our allies around the world to develop a plan to make this war come to some sort of conclusion and get our troops home. Right now, as it was been for since I got into this race in May of '05, there is no plan and there's no end in sight to this, and we really need to focus on the war on terror and national security issues, and I think that this war has taken our focus off of that. That being said, we're there, and as some folks told me on the campaign route, there's really no easy solution here. Getting out tomorrow isn't probably the right thing to do. Staying and getting out later is probably not the right thing to do, and that's why we do need to have a plan. The President as Commander-in-Chief needs to provide leadership in this, and in the process we all need to work together and get something that really works for this country and works for the Middle East also.